really happy about the recent rains that the city received. And they see it as some more time to make decisions on big projects like a desalination plant. Um, so the facts are that 95% of the city's water comes from surface water, all their drinking water. And surface water is the water we get from things like lakes and rivers. And so Corpus Christi relies on two main reservoirs for water right now. That's Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon. And earlier this year, both of those reservoirs reached about 7% capacity, and that's a historic low for those two reservoirs. And so when that happened, the city resorted to all these temporary fixes to bring water to the city. So that is groundwater, which is drilling underground to pull up water from the aquifers. So they're relying on a temporary patchwork of solutions. But the recent rains made the reservoirs fill up a little bit. Lake Corpus Christi is about 20%. And so they've gotten some relief, but they do need to make a decision on a long-term solution soon.
Yeah, and just to put that in context, even with the recent rains and even with those increases in capacities, Corpus still faces what's characterized as a level 1 water emergency potentially sometime this year. What does that actually mean for the roughly 300,000 people who live there?
So Corpus Christi right now is at a stage 3 water emergency. Stage 3 means that all the residents have to limit their outdoor watering. They're not allowed to water their lawns. They have to water they can't wash their cars unless they use like a bucket. But the next stage is level 1, which is kind of like stage 4. And when they approach level 1, that means that the city is 6 months away from supply falling short of demand. And so projections show that the city is expected to reach a level 1 emergency by the end of the year, around December, possibly January 2027. And so that basically means that the city is expected for supply to run short of demand by around summer 2027, so within the next year.
Okay, so they're taking some short-term steps now. There may be more short-term steps to take in the coming months over the next year or two. And then there's the longer-term question of how to avoid, how to ensure that there's enough water supply long-term going forward so they don't go through this again. What is this long pursued, then rejected, and now once again discussed Inner Harbor desalination project?
Yes. So to be clear, a desalination plant is this very energy intensive, expensive plant facility that turns seawater, filters it, and makes it drinkable. The controversy over a desalination plant is that when you remove the salt from the water, you're left with this super salty brine. And it's not salt like table salt. It's this like liquid that's like really toxic. And they have to discharge it somewhere. And so right now, Corpus Christi's plan is to have a desalination plant in the Hillcrest neighborhood of Corpus, which is a historically Black neighborhood right by Corpus Christi Bay. And their plan is to discharge the brine into the bay. And a lot of critics of the shrimp and different sea creatures, and they conducted this study to decide whether the plant would harm the bay. And researchers found that in a 3-month study, the eco-life within the bay is able to tolerate the salinity. But desalination, it's important to know that if the city decides to go through with the desalination plant, they would only receive their 2029. So this is nowhere near a solution for the imminent crisis.
I have a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment, but just to clarify, you were saying that if they go ahead with this project, that it would not be ready to roll until it would seem at least 2029, that it's about a 3-year process to get this built up and running. Is that correct?
Hey, do you mind repeating that question?
Okay.
I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah, so let's see if we can get things squared away technically. Maybe we can get her on the phone possibly instead. We'll see if we can work that out. And in the meantime, we are talking with Colleen de Guzman from the Texas Tribune. She has been following developments in Corpus Christi, which of course is dealing with a major water crisis. Corpus Christi, after years of record heat and limited rain and ongoing political battles, is really running into a problem here as it runs short on water. And so in the short term, they're intervening. There is the potential that within 6 months, they could be facing a level 1 emergency. And then this week, Corpus Christi City Council revisited this long-planned, controversial desalination plant project that they had rejected in a vote last year that could filter the salt out of seawater and make it drinkable and could be part of the long-term solution. Let's see if we've got Colleen de Guzman back on and fully connected with us. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, I could hear you. I
Excellent.
apologize for the Wi-Fi. I'm at a hotel right now.
That's all right. So this project, as I said, had been in development for more than a decade before the Corpus Christi City Council rejected it last year. What was the basis on which they turned it down then?
Yes, so the Inner Harbor project was first approved in 2019 when they received seed money from the state to continue with it. But at the time, the desalination plant was expected to cost the city $160 million. And this plant was expected to produce 10 million gallons of drinkable water a day. But within time, in a few years, by September last year, the facility ballooned to a price of $1.2 billion. And that's became for multiple reasons. I mean, cost of construction exploded and they tripled the amount of water they wanted to produce to 30 million gallons a day. The city requires on average about 100 million gallons a day for drinkable water. That's for its residents. The water system for the city also serves about 300,000 people across the region, across 7 counties along the coastal bend. And so by September, that's when city council members decided to basically abandon the plan after about a decade of working on it because of the $1.2 billion ticket price. And they were also concerned about the environmental harm that it would cause to residents.
Yeah, and I want to get to that in a minute, but let's first focus on the economics here. So you mentioned that $1.2 billion price tag. Who would pay for that? Okay, it looks like maybe we have lost our connection again with Colleen de Guzman. We'll see if we can get her back here in the next few moments. Once again, we're discussing this long planned but ultimately rejected and controversial desalination plant project that Corpus Christi City Council revisited this week in a very long meeting. I think as Colleen de Guzman mentioned, some 15 hours long. That included several hours of public comment and several more hours of debate. And then they ultimately voted to table their decision until September. Let's see if we have her back. Hopefully, let's see. All right. Colleen, are you with us? Oh, okay. Looks like maybe we're just going to have to move on. My apologies to Colleen de Guzman. But let's walk through the real basics here of what we're talking about. So there have been economic objections raised over this because of the cost and who would benefit from it, whether it would be, in fact, Corpus Christi residents or others, whether industry would foot an appropriate bill for it, and whether or not they would benefit more from it. And then there are also environmental concerns about what happens with the salt water that is filtered out, or should rather say the salt filtered out of it. So we're going to dive into that in just a minute here. My thanks again to Colleen de Guzman, a reporter for the Texas Tribune. And up next, more about how desalination plants work as we listen back to conversations our Joshua Zinn had in 2024 about this proposed plant in Corpus Christi, an active desalination project in Katy, and environmental concerns raised by such efforts. Stay with us as Houston Matters continues on News 88.7 and YouTube.
Grand morning. I think it's I want to say Thursday. I think it's Thursday, y'all. Wednesday or Thursday. I think it's Thursday, if I'm right. I'm out doing my morning errands. As usual, I always do my errands in the morning. I'm doing that now. And I'm listening to talk radio as usual. And they're talking about a critical water shortage in the city of Corpus Christi, which is all the way south of Houston. Corpus Christi is a coastal city and everything, and their reservoirs, their freshwater reservoirs, are basically out of water, running out of water. So the plan by the city is to build a desalination water plant, which means they want to take water from the ocean and desalt it and make it into fresh water. And when you do that, the byproduct is a very strong liquid salt waste. A very strong liquid salt waste. And what they're saying is, as usual, unfortunately, what they want to do is they want to go ahead and pump this kind of toxic saltwater liquid into the black community. They want to build this plant. They want to build this plant, this desaltation water, freshwater plant in the black community. That's what they want to do. So that's what's going on in Corpus Christi right now. And what I want to talk about also is, it shows you how our fresh water is running low throughout the country. Our fresh water is running low, y'all. Throughout the country. Now, I don't know why they won't do a different forms of harvesting rainwater. Maybe they feel that the desaltation plants are probably more reliable than it raining. So, and then if you live in the Dubai area, countries like Dubai and all that, they already do desaltation plants already. That's how in the Arab countries where it's real dry, that's how they get their water. That is how they get their water. So we're way behind on that, but we're not in the desert. But it seems like with this climate change, parts of the U.S., more parts of the U.S. are changing into deserts. So that's what's going on Talk Radio with that conversation. Corpus Christi having a water crisis, and the issues they're having getting water, and how they want to put this plant in the black neighborhoods and Corpus Christi. Why did they pick the black neighborhoods? You know why. You always have to bring up racism when it comes to environmental changes. You have to bring up racism, you know. And this is a prime example of true racism. But I'm going to continue running my errands this morning, and I'm gonna go get me some breakfast, and then I'm gonna head back home. And I hope you guys are having a good morning, having a good day. So we might get some rain. We're probably gonna get some rain today. It looks like it's very cloudy, very humid. So, but the rain is a good thing. If you have a micro food forest, you have a garden, you have a farm, you have a homestead, however you grow food, the rain is a good thing. And we should be, as we can see, looking at this Corpus Christi situation, they're running out of fresh water. We all should be harvesting our own rain anyway. We all should be harvesting our own rainwater anyway, because rainwater is free. Now, these people in Corpus Christi, they can't do anything. They have strict water uses. They can't water their gardens. They can't do anything. They can't wash their cars. They can't do anything. So, as the global climate changes, you're going to see more of this in more cities. So it's best to be more self-sustainable right now. It's best to be more self-sustainable right now. And do it before they make you do it. This is Virginia Life Wayne coming to y'all on this morning errands. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. Drink some tea, find your chi ground, detox, all that. Y'all have a nice morning. And remember, ain't nobody coming to save us. We gotta save ourselves, y'all.